And then you also did the thing that I have been celebrating this for a long time, which is when comedians, you know, there was this like thing where I've heard people go like, oh, this dude's got a special on YouTube.
Yeah.
So clearly, you know, he's a fucking zilch or something. And you go, you know that YouTube and Netflix actually have the exact same concept, which is we have content and we want you to get lost here.
Yeah.
We want you to stay. Like, we want you to stay on Netflix. Here's a million things to watch. YouTube has a billion things to watch.
Yeah.
And so you go, actually, you see that like you put it out, Mark Norman, Shane Gillis, Giannis, like all these comedians go like, here's my special. And then you see the view counts. You're like, yeah, I don't think this is a bad idea, man. Like these things have like 5, 7, 10, 12 million views.
Yeah.
That means that all these people who maybe didn't know these guys, and now you see like they're selling tickets. Like this worked the same way.
Yeah. 100%.
That Netflix did.
Yeah. It's almost like it's the new Netflix.
Did you
know what I mean? Like
it is doing it on YouTube is the way to.
Yeah, because like for me, like when I first started doing the YouTube thing, like I just couldn't get on Comedy Central. I couldn't get on Netflix for whatever reason. Like they just weren't giving me a shot. And I had like good exposure on like MTV and these types of things, but I guess they just I guess maybe it was like my brand of comedy or whatever. I hate that fucking term, but like I guess they were like a little bit concerned. Like, okay, here's this white guy. He's going to be making fun of a bunch of different like people that don't look like him.
Right.
And you know, you keep getting the same response about punching down or whatever that fucking term is, which is like in and of itself kind of offensive.
Yeah.
Because I never thought of these people as down. Like I grew up with people of different, you know, cultures. And then I remember I was like, all right, well, fuck it. I'll just put some stuff out on YouTube. And I put out a special on YouTube. It wasn't even a special. It was 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was like 4 different clubs in New York City. And I did it all in one night. And like the cab rides in between.
Sure.
And it was just like a fun little thing. And I remember like the week after I was at like the San Diego Comedy Company or something like that.
Yeah.
You know that club?
Yes. Yeah.
And I sold it out.
Nice.
And I'd never sold a club out.
You're like, holy shit.
And I was like, that's weird. I was like, maybe this is like one of those clubs that like people just come out no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, there's like Acme.
Yeah.
Is like that. The one in Wisconsin. What's the one?
Comedy on State?
Yeah, they just have like a great audience. So I'm like, okay. That's weird. And then I did another club. I did like the Funny Bone or something like that in like Columbus. And then like that one was sold out. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I started like asking people after the show. I'd be like, hey, how did you find out about the dinner? Like, oh, I watched your thing on YouTube. And I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then I did like a week of stand-up on YouTube for a year.
Oh,
so
wow.
every week I put a new clip out for a year.
Wow.
And I was fortunate because I've been touring for so long without having any stand-up out.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch
You had
of
a bunch
stuff.
of material.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I think YouTube and Instagram, this is the way. And like, I remember one time a clip went viral and it was like on Super Bowl Sunday, I had a joke and it was like, I was like, yeah, countries that treat women the worst have the best food.
Yeah, that's a funny fucking bit, dude.
Okay, right? So it's like, and it's weird, like people that have saw the bit and it was just like Reddit made it fucking go.
Yeah.
And like everything else trickled down after that. I'm sure you guys experience this too. Like one thing goes viral. It's like what happened with, Netflix early on. Like you guys were part of this, but I also see you guys as like, you were successful in your own right outside of Netflix. It's not like you guys were made by Netflix. Do you know what I mean? Like you guys have built up your ecosystems. I'm sure like Netflix definitely helped propel you.
For sure.
But you were established in terms of like your fan base and the people that knew, and that was probably increased by the exposure, right?
Oh, yeah.
But then we also saw people that went from like barely headlining to being like superstars.
Yes.
Because of an amazing special on Netflix. Like Ali Wong fucking crushes it.
Yeah.
And then overnight, boom.
Huge star. Yeah.
So like back in the day, I would do a Netflix special for free.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like if you were smart, you would, and you just go hit it on the road.
People used to hit me up and go, because they thought it was like my friend at Netflix, and they would go, hey, can you call someone there and tell them that I'll pay to be on? I'm like, it doesn't work. I can't be like, hey, my friend will give you 20 grand to be on the platform.
But that person was low-key smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if it's a billboard,
Yes.
right, and the people are going to see it. So, and then I noticed what was happening is like, I did that Netflix special, and I was like, I think this is really good. And like, we saw like a little bump, but it wasn't crazy. And we worked like really fucking hard on that.
I'm sure.
Like, fucking killed ourselves. And I was like, if I just kept putting this on Instagram and YouTube, we probably would have grown more. Like, is something changing? Like, what's going on?
Wow.
And then I think what it is like YouTube can be honest with the algorithm because they don't make shit.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Everything Netflix makes is 90%.
Yeah.
When they see how many people liked it, right? You look, you're like, what are the reviews? 90% people liked it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, that's impossible.
Of course.
Right? But YouTube can be like, nobody likes this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And YouTube can also be like, everyone likes Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because you fucking do.
Yeah.
And then, so I saw that kind of move and I was like, okay, this is kind of where the fucking people are. And this really worked out. And I think that's why you saw so many guys that are putting out the YouTube specials having this, I don't know, great like movement in their career.
Fucking fantastic. Like you're fucking, you have the special, like we just said, to be clear, we're recording this a few days before it comes out, but this episode comes out a few days after. So you can still go, you can go to theandrewschulz.com and watch the special. But the story about this, first of all, I would say this, when your tour was going on, you're definitely the best marketer of your shows, because I would see your clips where I'd be like, what in the fuck is happening? Like there's like fucking like goddamn shirt cannons and then people dancing on stage. I'm like, this is a show, right? This is like a full experience.
And I got great guys that work with me on all this. So
yeah,
you guys know what it is. Build a business, you need great people.
You need great people, absolutely. But like it was like a super fun show. And then you made a deal like we all hope to do for specials. Your special was acquired, and then afterwards, I mean, this is a story that I saw even on Instagram. They reach out to you and they're like, "We want you to cut a couple of jokes out." Yeah, because we just feel like there's going to be backlash. We don't really want to deal with it. So how about you edit this? Yeah. I mean, was your response immediate, or did you have a thing where you're like, I got to think about this? Like, what are they asking?
I want to know what the jokes were.
Yeah.
And I want to know like what the lines were, because like, look, I know it's edgy, and I understand like when you're doing a special with a network, you're not like, you're entertaining their whole audience. Yeah. And some of their audience like kids shows, some of their audience like serial killer documentaries. Like if it's my YouTube page, it's like everybody who goes there knows what they're getting, so you can't really be that upset. Unless I put out something shitty on my YouTube page. Like, be upset. Sure. So I understand like their limitations. I don't even like hate the streamers in any way. Like I understand like you don't care as much about stand-up as I do. I fucking love this. Sure. You love building a business. That's awesome. You have kids in fucking school. You don't want them to not be able to go to school. You have a new house. Like I empathize with you. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not going to edit the jokes because I know more than you that people like them. Right. You think people might not like them. Yeah. I know they like them. Yeah. Like 100%. So they came and they were like, okay, there are these lines, and I'm like, I don't really think that that's bad. There was the abortion joke that they were a little worried about. There was a line I thought was so fucking silly. I thought it was really funny. It was a Harry Potter reference. Fetus deletus is the thing, and I just thought it was like.
And they're saying delete that?
Yeah. They were like, I don't know why the fuck that they thought maybe it's like making it too childish or something. I don't know what the fuck it is. It was a very weird line.
That's so weird.
That I was like, and that is just so silly. And then there was other like chunks. There's like a chunk about like Ted Bundy. There's another like Michael Jackson chunk, and then
it's his wheelhouse. He loves this guy.
So
he's a cool guy.
Okay,
yeah, he's misunderstood. Knucklehead. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was the women's fault.
For 100%. Yeah. 100%. First of all, give the guy, I mean, look, he's a good-looking guy.
He's charged up.
He's smart, all right? He failed out of law. He didn't fail out of law school, but he could have been a good lawyer. Yeah. And if you weren't being such a fucking bitch,
dumping him. He's a catch. He's a good catch.
He is a catch.
Back in the day, an educated man like that, handsome.
And he's naturally handsome. This is before people could fix their teeth or their face, like
eyebrow.
He was hot, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, there's
a little creepy in the stare.
Yeah.
Well, there's
not a lot of feelings behind his eyes, but I mean, the guy loved to read. Who doesn't like a good reader?
True.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree.
Completely misunderstood. Anyway, they were not feeling it, and they were not. And so
you just sold me my ticket. I'm
right now. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my wheelhouse, bro.
But here's the thing. This has, you told that story, and it's so funny. It's like the simplicity of posting that story. It really is. Like you post it on Instagram. Yeah. Kind of makes people see it. Yeah. And now, it's been up at the point that you're seeing this, but people are buying tickets to see it. I go to dinner last night, big movie producers. one of them goes, you know, we're just like talking about general things. And he goes, oh, do you know Andrew Schulz? And I go, yeah. And he goes, I just read this thing. This story is fascinating to me. So he tells the whole story.
Yeah.
And the other guy, he's like, I don't know who that is. He looks you up and he's like, oh, yeah, I think I've seen this guy. He tells him the story about the special and how they wanted to edit it. And he goes, so then he bought it back and did it. And the other guy goes, oh, I'm buying a ticket to that right now. And he goes and he buys the ticket. You know, because I feel like people who A, love comedy and B, hate censorship and any type of like a corporation telling you cannot do this.
Yeah.
Man, they're just getting behind it for the love of both, like the love of comedy and pushing back against.
Well, and isn't this what we were talking about at the top before you arrived? This is such a fucking Hollywood thing of like, Andrew, we love you. Yeah. Let me guess how that conversation went. Yeah. Here's the money. But there's just one little thing. Could you just change who you are? Could you just?
Yeah, but it's
like,
worse.
Fuck you.
It's worse than that because it's at first it's, you know what? Here's the money. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's not like they're like, hey, make sure when you record, you don't do
this. That's the thing.
Different.
They knew, and what happens is,
of course they know,
but culture changes. That's the crazy thing. You can't control culture changes. So it's like the Chappelle trans thing happened.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think companies got fucking terrified because they're like, oh shit, this is the backlash that a company is getting because of a comedian doing a joke. And if the biggest guy on the planet gets that backlash, what is a less big guy going to get? So that's the situation they're in. So it's like, oh, you changed your mind.
Yeah, you changed your mind. Thank you for watching that highlight here from YMH Studios. That was a highlight or a clip, whichever word you prefer. You watched it, and there are so many more little bite-sized episode things. They're just click them. Maybe it's someone screaming or bleeding. Maybe it's just laughing at someone, making fun of them.